مثل الشمس للأكوان تطلع نور في كل يوم.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم في حلقة جديدة من بودكاست فريق المبادرات الإبداعية سافن بجامعة هلسنكي. هذا معكم نايف المطيري، مرحبا بكم. معي اليوم الضيفة الكريمة دكتورة كيرسي كاتيولا، وسنكمل هذا الحوار باللغة الإنجليزية. مرحبا بكم. Welcome.
Thank you.
My guest today is Dr. Kirsty Katila. She's the head of Transnational Education, PhD, University of Helsinki Center of Continuing Education, HY+. I hope I get everything.
Yes, everything is correct. Yes.
All right. Doctor, would you like me to call me Kirsty?
Kirsty is just fine, yeah.
Okay. Kirsty, we have few questions about education in Finland, and those questions are besides the obvious thing, which is English is number one, Finland is number one in the world. However, how significant, in your opinion, is having the teachers here in Finland instead of going to their countries?
You mean Saudi teachers?
Yes.
I think it's really significant that the Saudi teachers here see with their own eyes how we do the education here in Finland. So you see that now you have the English lessons, but then when you go to schools, you know how they are operated and what works. And then you can yourself think what might work then in your own country. But, I must say, I think the best solution would be that then you would go back to your country and then we would continue after that.
Oh.
So it's kind of like we do in training schools in Finland, that they have the theory, then they go to the schools to practice, and then they reflect on it, get some advice, and then they go again. So you sort of need also the practice.
And Finland is one of the countries that have been chosen to be in the program. But, however, I would like your comment on the following statement.
Yeah.
Now, Finland being the best in education is a story that did not end. Can you really comment on that?
Yes, we are trying to improve all the time. So because we find that if we are too happy we have been doing, then we kind of move backwards. And so we have to all the time be seeing around what is needed, and also the world around us changes, and the students change. I mean, the students of today, they're definitely different than they were when I was a student. So we have to, the digital gadgets they have everywhere, we have to kind of live up with it. And also their mindset may be different. They are more globalized, they know more about the world, so we have to be ready to change all the time.
And do you think, like, how long did it take Finland to be the best in the world?
We started our the reform. It was made in the middle of the 70s. So it's 40 years ago now. And I think the first PISA results that were surprising even as Finns, they came about 10 years ago. Yeah. So it was about 30 years about that at least we found out that they were so good.
So it was an effort of 40 years in the making.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you think you need another 40 years to be something else?
No, I think we're progressing all the time. Like I'm not sure if you already heard, but you will hear that we had our change in our curriculum recently.
Yes.
So-called phenomenon-based learning. Oh. So that's something that we don't. The disciplines are more mixed, and there are phenomenons, not the disciplines, in the core. Oh. So that's something new again. We are jumping in something unknown, but we trust because the scientific research showing that is a good way to proceed. So we're trying that now. So I don't think that because now if we are in the top and we want to keep us there. So it is not, we don't need the next 40 years to do that.
May I just elaborate a little bit on, you said the science set? So, do you follow an approach to educational practices that are science-based? And
yes,
how
definitely,
significant
definitely.
is that?
Yeah, that's really significant. And all our teacher education is based on science. So it's educational research in education sciences and didactics. And so we organize our teacher training based on the science. scientific research results.
Provided internationally or specific
internationally, but also, of course, the Finnish are really good. For instance, University of Helsinki and all the Finnish universities actually, we are really strong in scientific research.
Yeah, I'm sorry to elaborate. Just one more point. What about access to data for teachers and researchers? Do you have an open door policy towards access to data?
Yes. You mean like journals?
Yeah.
That's
teachers.
More and more. Yes, of course. There are scientific journals that don't have open access, but when you are in a university, you have the access to them. All the researchers and students have access to those databases. But the University of Helsinki has a policy that be more and more open and publish more in open access papers. So that is something that is kind of that we feel that science should be right for everyone. Yes, exactly.
Since I've been here in Finland, I have been seeing some signs of Finnish educational greatness. If that's
Sorry, what?
Of Finnish educational greatness.
Greatness, okay.
So I've been seeing some signs from the society. And I would like you to shed some light on the role of the society in making Finland number one.
I think, well, you can't take education separately from the society. They are so intertwined. And I think if you think only the education, with us the children go to school when they're 7, and the early years, we don't expect them to be able to read or write when they go to school at the age of 7.
Yes.
We have a preschool that is for 6 years old, but it's more like gaining some capabilities to be working in a group and so that they will succeed in the school. So it's not that academic. And I think that is part of it, that it is also our childcare system. And then we have the early childhood education, which is also, we have only professionals there. It's in the law. They have to be university educated, at least one of the. So it is something that it is rooted, we believe in high education, and it's also for the childcare. Then another thing is that in Finland, traditionally, we have had high respect for education. Like we talked, I think it was in the first days that we talked that the teacher has been always one of the main figures even in the rural areas, rural societies, some 100 years ago, and so it is today as well. So it is something that teacher education is so highly appreciated, and also the lifelong learning, that we see that even though we get the degree, we still need to improve ourselves. And that is our teacher education, because we teach them to be research-minded, so they know that they can see themselves where they need more. So reflection skills are really in the core of that.
As for teachers, there in the program they have been some mentors. Can you shed some light on that?
Mentors?
Yeah.
Well, they are university-educated mentors. They are associate experts at the university, so they have master's degree in education. So some of them are teachers, have been working as teachers, some of them as principals. But even though they are working in regular schools, or have been working, they are university educated, so they are sort of they're professional in their field. So it's not we don't believe that all the wisdom is in this building at the university, but it is something, the alumni that we have educated, they have the capabilities to improve in their careers.
That's amazing. What about parents? Let's talk about into the family. I mean, do you think that the parents play a big role in making education great in any country? And let's be more specific to Finland.
Okay, so I think this is a kind of a double-edged sword or something like that. It's kind of of course, the parents have an impact. But in Finland, the parents, they don't push their children as much. I've seen in many other countries. So we don't prep our children for schools, because we trust that in the school there are professionals in each school, and the kids are taught there. Of course, I ask my kids that have you made your homework? And if there's some problems, the teacher may contact me and we will discuss. But it is different in the sense that we don't have to work for the children. We believe that the teachers do that work in schools. But it has also, and in Finland, because we have the equality that it should be, because it's free, education is free, and each school is as good as the next one. We don't have any private schools. So it is that each individual in Finland should have the same possibilities to progress in academic career, no matter how poor or what kind of family background. But of course, the research shows that there is kind of this social inheritance that families that have academic background, their children are more prone to continue to academic than those whose parents necessarily don't know how to encourage to that path. But that is something that we try to address in the schools as well.
I would understand for a country that is made of immigrants like Singapore to rank first, because, I mean, the situation for the family is to push the kids as hard as they can, because it's either success or complete loss.
Yeah.
I would understand somebody being pushed that hard to achieve. I would understand for a country like Korea, where they would spend long, rigorous hours at schools, and they would pay a lot of money for teachers in outside academies to progress, because the push is great from within the family. And I've seen some documentaries where families get separated, and school kids live in the city close to their schools. I would understand such a huge push by the family to the students to proceed. But I don't understand, which is difficult for me, here in Finland the push is not that hard, I mean, family-wise. However, we find them succeed. Can you really explain?
That's really hard to explain. It is just it is something that we do just expect. I mean, it is in a society that we think that everyone has to go to school, and it's so rooted. And of course, they have to be in the school until they are 16 years old, and after that, they should continue somewhere. And there's a lot of effort put that they will be found. The kids will find their fate either in vocational education or in the academic education. And they are really looked after. I mean, there are schools, they have the counselors that are looking after, and also the social workers, teachers. It's the whole community. So it is something that is just expected. And when you say it that way, it's kind of it is really just in the system, sort of.
What about the stakes? Are they high?
No.
For students?
No.
I mean, if you're in Singapore and Korea and other country, the stakes are high for you to fail.
Yeah, and it is a really bad thing for the family if you fail. And I know there are really sad stories.
What about here?
No, not in Finland. For instance, I've changed my career path. When I went to another university, and then I realized this is not my path, and then I came here. So it is because we don't have dead ends. So it is in our system that even whatever you choose, you may always choose another option afterwards. So it's not that fatal, or that that you don't have to be so sure about that you're doing the right thing, or that it is so hard that you have to succeed at once. So maybe it's something that we kind of allow failure better as well. So we have our system is more merciful in a sense, I think.
Let me give you a short story. Two of my friends in the university went to a department they didn't love.
Yeah.
And they ended up, either one of them really went out of university and left it, and the other one really stayed there for a long time. And those who succeeded were the ones who went into the major that they loved.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about if you are a Finnish and you love arts, for example, or you love any other thing, would that be a factor in your success in life?
Yes, of course. If you do something that you love, you maybe you're a better expert because you're so into it. So and that's also. If I tell a story, my eldest daughter, she wanted to become an actress. She was really good in acting, as a, I mean, she has been in. Well, she's been it has been as a hobby, and we strongly supported her. Although we know that there's not a lot of work opportunities, but that's something that she wants. Okay, but when she was in the high school, she realized that it's not actually what she wanted to do, and then she talked with a counselor in school, and the counselor was suggesting, how about teaching? That it's kind of being on stage as well. And now she just made her bachelor's at the University of Helsinki, and now she's studying towards master's in education. So it is something that, even though as parents we felt that, okay, that may not be the best career opportunity, but if it's something that she really wants to do, then it's something that we should support.
If we pick up someone random from the street and ask him, what do you do for life? And he would say, I am an engineer, I'm a teacher, I'm a policeman. How much money would you bet that they are doing what they love here in Finland?
In their life?
Yes.
Well, it really depends. And are you in public sector or private sector? I think the medium salary of all the Finns is around 3,500 euros or something. Well, don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I'm not quite, but around. So, but then it's, of course, there are lower paying salaries, and then on the high end, of course, like in any other country.
What about what you love? Doing what you love?
What I love? Okay, so that really depends.
So that random person, you would ask him, you are a policeman, are you doing what you love? Would you expect he would say, yes, I'm doing what I love?
Well, not necessarily. It also, because some time you have to kind of just accept the facts of life. Maybe you don't get to the path that you want, but then you find the second best, and then you kind of make your way.
Because of no dead end.
Yes. So it is something. If I take myself again as an example, so I started in a business school, and then I came to forest products marketing at the university. So I studied forest sciences. All my family are teachers. I didn't want to be a teacher because they are teachers. I just didn't want to. And then after a time, I realized, okay, actually I do like teaching. So I started teaching at my department. I made my teacher's certificate degree, and now I'm working in education. So it is something that, even though I started in business or forest sciences, I ended up in the thing that I really love to do.
So that's exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah.
You ended up in the place where you love to be.
Yes, yeah.
And everyone here is entitled, with a no dead end education, to end up where he loves.
Yes, of course they're entitled, but of course sometimes you just kind of accept that, okay, for instance, there are things in your family that you can't. Well, it took me quite a while. I'm not 20 anymore, so it took me a while to get there. But it's kind of that when I've been working in a bank for a while. I realized that that's not my thing. Then I moved on to study again, came back to the university to make my doctoral degree. So it is something that you can kind of switch, and that's I love in our system that.
I'm taking a little bit more time, I'm sorry. But let me shed some light on teachers doing what they love. Mm-hmm. How much money are you ready to bet that teachers, many Finnish teachers, do what they love as teachers?
Quite a lot of money.
Oh.
Yes, because it's really hard to get to teacher education in Finland. So you really have to love that field to be able to get to the university. And of course, another thing is that when you, because you can choose and you can change your career path. During your studies, you can go to somewhere else. So if you don't like what you're doing, you might start something else. And teacher, I think it is kind of the teachers are sort of persons that have the spirit in them. When you chose teachers, if you asked engineers, I wouldn't be that certain, but teachers usually, they do kind of have that calling. They enjoy what they're doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Doctor, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. The information you've given us is just more than to digest in one setting. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to switch now to Arabic.
Yes.
أعزائي المستمعين، نشكركم على الاستماع معنا لهذه الحلقة، ونتمنى أن تستمتعوا معنا في الحلقات القادمة. محدثكم نايف مطيري، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
مثل الشمس للأكوان تطلع نور في كل